Hi design thinkies, my name is Matthew Sear and today we're jumping into Figma and we're going to be building ourselves out a super icon. Our icon will be able to dynamically adjust from being a line icon to a fill icon to a combo icon with our line and fill. We'll be able to do all of this in one single icon component. We're going to set the component up where you can dynamically change the line thickness. The thickness will dynamically change, going up different sizes. We're also going to have the ability to have the icon as well adapt up and down our different screens from a small to medium to a large screen. And this is all going to be done in just a couple of simple collections inside of Figma. So if you'd like to learn how to do this, then you'll be able to find the Pixelink Design System Lite. It is the project in the description box below. So if you'd like to learn more about how to set up a smart component in Figma, then sit back, relax, and let's jump into the video. Right, here we are inside of Figma. What we have over here is our icon. We got a ability to hover over this card. You can see that the text changes the thickness and the fill icon shows. We can also hover over these elements. We've got that nice combo icon. We can select it, then it goes to the fill. We can see that the text weight as well adjusts. We can see that the icon weight line adjusts. We'll be able to make sure that these elements can dynamically change, and we can also have a bit more control over them. For example, let's over here, I could go in to my icon, and if I'd like to make sure that this icon is that combo fill, I can just set it to that combo fill. I can also go into that icon, and if I want as well, maybe I want that icon actual weight to be thicker. There we go. I've made it a thicker one. Maybe I want it to be thinner. Maybe I want a smaller icon. And this is what we'll be able to set up. We'll be able to create this element, and we'll be able to also dynamically change in and out the different icons from our actual icon there. We'll be able to set this up with using our couple of collections that we have here. You'll be able to find the collections from the Pixelink Design System Lite. So make sure you have the project, or feel free to download it. We're going to run through the collections to begin with, and then we are going to get into building out this simple asset. And we're going to be building our icon and making sure we have an additional icon, and that icon will be then uploaded into our component, and then our component will be able to use everywhere. So let's get into the overview for our collections. All right, so over here we have our actual scaling collection. This actual collection is basically called size, and what it has is all of the core fundamental sizes. This is like our primitive size collection. Above this collection, you'll see a series of sizes, and we are incrementing by 2. And we're using these sizes, and then we're setting them into a actual area where we'll be able to dynamically adjust them. That is more specific. But these are just the core sizes and primitives. So what is this? We have our line weight, and we need to be able to adapt the line weight up and down our icon size. So to do so, what we've done is we have our light size. Our light line weight set size will be across our smaller end of our icons. Our medium will be across that medium range of icons, and our heavy will be across our larger range of icons. And then what we've done is we're using 400, 500, 600, and 700. These match up with our actual font sets. When we go up larger fonts, we can have a larger scale of actual weights. For example, On our mobile, on our light end, our smallest icon has a line weight of 1. But on our much larger end, we have a 2 for our line weight. And we have the set of 4 to allow us options. Otherwise, we would not need any of this. But if we did want the options to be able to scale up and down 4 different weights, then we can set it up like this. You'll be able to see how this is set up. You'll be able to check that out in the local collections inside of the kit. And then what we do is we take these and then we are going to then start moving them and threading them through a weight control collection. What this collection does is it aligns both our font weights as well as our line weights, and it sets them all up so that they can align appropriately with one another. So if I have a very bold actual font weight, then I'm matching that bold font weight with our line weight, and we tie those directly in here. And then what we do is we get into how we manage our icon size itself. As you can see, we have a scaling collection and we have our variables, the collections from our padding, rounding, our icons and sizes, as well as we have a weight size inside of here. And this allows us to choose and adapt up and down these different ranges. This turns our original set of values that adapt dynamically for mobile, tablet, and desktop, and then it expands upon it. And what it does is it allows it to grow even more. For example, we have let's say a 16 here in a 1x range. This 16 can adapt from its base point being 16 for a mobile, because we're doing mobile first. And then of course for tablet, it will go to an 18. And then when it's on desktop, it will go to a 20. For this, we could then also decide to do a larger scale or a smaller scale, giving us so much more range to our icon sets. And in here is where we can also adapt the actual line weight thickness dynamically. And then finally, we're going to be creating a very specific set of tokens that is specific to our actual icon. This is a component-based token set, and this set defines if they will have a fill or a line, or we have them combined into one. So let's get into building out a new icon, applying these variables, and then using them and setting them up and understanding how this works. We're going to create the component, we're going to create the icon, and we're going to apply those variables. All right, let's get into that. So let's create our super icon. We'll jump over here. I put together a very simple icon setup. We have our frame, we have our icon fill, we have this outline, and we have this little element inside of the outline. We are going to make sure to set up the right names, and we're going to be applying this and creating our icon. Now, as I go over here, I'm going to have the actual line. The line is going to go over the background, which is going to go over here. Now, we do need to make sure that our actual fill here has that little arrow that's going to be inside of it. Key thing to note is that this needs to start at a 1:1 ratio. So we're going to work at a 16 pixel ratio as a base point. And it means that inside of our frame, we're going to have that 2 pixel kind of padding all around our actual icon. And we're going to have that sit nicely in the center. We've already checked this out. We already know that there's about a 2 pixel padding. It's centered and it looks really nice and clean. What we can do is this outline here is a 1. So I'm going to reduce this down to a 0.8, which means that it's going to be a little bit smaller. If I overlay this, it's going to sit underneath, which is perfect. So I will now click on this. I'm going to turn the outline into a fill. I'm going to apply that, and then I'm going to flatten it. And then I'm going to make sure to name it fill once again. And I'm going to go into this, and then I'm going to invert that and get rid of that inside. So there we go. We have our outline and we have our fill. We can drag that over the top, and as you can see, it fits perfectly. And I can have the outline just kind of sit over the top with no problems. We are going to make sure that the fill and all fills remain as a single color. So we're going to define basically our combo of line and fill, and they're all consistently the same color, as in all fills will be white and all lines will be black. And that is just by default inside of the actual default component. Now this is a component here. I called it download file. So as I, let's say, select these elements, I can chuck it into download file. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I'm set this up to scale. So what this will do is that it will scale, but it will maintain the same ratio of the border. This is the difference between scale, and this is going to be the difference between anchoring. We anchor, we actually maintain this actual distance here and here, which is the same distance that we see there. We're going to be using both a combination of scaling and anchoring inside of our setup here. I'm going to make sure that they all will scale inside of the frame. And I'm going to actually now set this up so that we are using our actual local collections. So if we go over to our local collections, we can go into our icon. Now I've designated an icon collection as a component collection, hence I've given it this little emoji. And then I'm using my circle emoji to reference my actual tokens. So these are my design token collections, and this is my component specific collection. In this component specific selection, I have a line and I have a fill. These are tokens or variables that are directly tied to the icon, and they define those parts of the icon. And these ones are going to be defining the opacity of those layers. It's going to define this as, for example, like the fill at when, and then having the line as 100%, which means that if, let's say this was a purple, then it would be 50% alpha, and it will then have that kind of combo look, and we'll have the same color that's going to be applied to both. What we're going to do is we'll apply these to each of the layers. So we're going to go to our fill. We're going to go over here, and we can see that we can go to our layer opacity, and we can apply our fill, and then we can apply that there. Now for my line, I can go to my line, and then I can also, let's say, apply it here. So I can go apply, and then I can go to my line, and I can find my actual line. I've got a couple of parts to do with my line, and I will actually find the icon represented by that little image there, and then I can select that. Now I have my fill, now I have my icon, and if we want to test this out, what we can do is I'm going to pick a blue color for my fill inside, and I can actually just test this out. I can go here and I can actually select the fill, and now I can see that it changes to the fill icon. I can see that it changes to the combo icon, and I can change it back to auto. The advantage of being auto means that you can actually specify this inside of your bigger components, and they can change what the icon is inside. And that means you don't need to click through and find this and actually specifically change your icon. It can all be changed dynamically inside of any asset that needs to define it. So I've set this up. I'm going to remove that line that's around my component. Now I can build my actual variation controls, which is going to be inside my kind of master component. And I can drag this up and I can detach this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another frame around it. We create another frame. This will be my super icon. Inside my super icon, what I need to do is make sure that the actual icon inside of it will actually be maintained. I'm going to grab that actual icon and we'll actually make sure that it does have a child component inside. We'll replace that. And that child component, I'm going to make sure that this one is actually going to be anchored, which means that this will be able to change also the size and maintain that fix. But what it will do is, because this and this, the edges of it are right up against one another, that means that it won't have any distance gained. So there'll be 100% tight, snug, and that's why we do the pinning over the scaling in this scenario, so we can keep these edges right up against one another. I'm going to create my super component, and now I can actually do a few cool things with it. I can first of all go up the top here, and then I can add a variant. What I can do is I go to the actual component, and inside of this component, I can click the actual component that's in there, and I can actually set this up. I can go, okay, great. I want to have a component switching collection. This will be, for example, one of my actual components, but I have several more that I would like to add into this asset. And I can say confirm. Now I have this icon switching, which is really cool, because that means I can drag this icon out. I can use this icon anywhere, and I have instant access to the icons in that group, which is pretty cool. And I can now go into this icon. I've already set that part up. And what I can do is add that additional layer. Now I'm going to have the ability to have this icon change from different sizes, but I also want to maintain a line thickness across these different sizes. So over in our local collection, we actually have what's referred to as our weights. Now this is both using the weight controls for our fonts and our weight controls for our line for our icon. Right here, I have my line light weight, which is for light sets, and this one is for my medium, and this one for my heavy. If I go to my sizes, we will be able to see the different sets. So on mobile, you can see that I use this range, but on tablet it increases, and on desktop it increases. So this is how it dynamically will change between our mobile, tablet, and desktop. And then we can be able to set it inside of here. And the way that we control those weights is to actually specify them right here. So we can specify here, I can go line, I can go into here, I can go apply, and I'm going to find that line weight. I'm going to go down to the weight actual variable collection, and I can say this one's going to be my heavy, because I'm going to actually make this one my large icon. I'm going to open up the actual Pixelink toolkit. So the Pixelink toolkit, by the way, is a plugin built for the community. It's free. You can play with it. You can apply variables directly to your designs really quickly. Now I'm going to go down the bottom here, and I'm going to go to my scaling, and I can see that I have specific size scaling for my icon. I'm going to just go down. I'm going to do it here where I can just simply apply that scaling. I'm going to go 48 like so, and then I'm just going to drag that out. I'm going to go my 40, and then I'm going to go to my 36, and then I will just drag it out once again, and this one will be my 32, and then I will drag it once again, and this one will be my 28. Now this line thickness is a little bit too thick, I think, for this range. I can actually go here, and I can go and I can change the thickness to that medium weight now. So now that I have my updated line thickness, so anything basically 32, and between 32 it will take the medium line thickness. And then I'm going to drag that down and I can just apply my next one down. So that was our 28, that was a 24. And then we can do our 16. I might even switch that one to my medium. So I got medium 32, medium 28, medium 24. And then I've got to my 16, and then I definitely want to jump down to my light, and I will then go from my 16, I will go to that 14, and I will go to that 12. What is it doing is it's applying, by the way, these variables directly to the height and width of the icon. Grab that out again. Let's go to that 10. And we'll go to our 8, and then we'll go to that 6. Overall, it's a massive scale. It should be able to cover pretty much everything you need. I am going to just click this. I'm going to set it to an auto layout, and I'm going to just center it like so. And what I can do is just give them names. Now over here, I'm using a t-shirt sizing scaling convention, and I can see what names I've given them down the bottom. So I'm going to use the same names. I'm going to go properties. I'm just going to call these size, and then I'm going to start with my large one. So this was my 4XL. This was going to be my 3XL. And then I will go to the sequential ones, and finally our super duper small 5XS. We have it scaling down like so. And the fun part is that because this is inside of our actual size icon scaling sets, we actually have this where it works basically across multi scaling ranges. So we could dynamically and quickly adjust right up to a much larger scale using our variables. Now I have those, I can check that out. I can see that weight change, which is fantastic. Let's say I wanted to also go to my weight collection. Specifically, I could go here. I can actually see the thickness change as well across the whole set, and they will maintain the same ratio of the thickness across our icons, allowing us to also choose our own thickness in addition to having it dynamic adjusted as well. So we have that, we've set up the size, and finally I should be able to also go to my layers, go to my icon, I could go to combo, and now I can see all of them change with the combo. As long as I keep this, for example, as a white, and I keep this one as the black, what that means is that I could grab this icon out here, and now I can actually switch this out to this other icon over here. Let's say I switch these colors around. I will apply this other color to it. Now I can select the icon, and I can be able to adapt the different sizes. I'll be able to also switch it to a different icon. So there's my actual icon for combo, my outline, and also my fill and my line. So then I can take this, for example, let's create a very simple light component using this over here. I'm going to grab that text, and then I could do basically a very simple text, and I could grab, let's say, my icon. Let me go to them small icons. We'll use my 16. I can grab that, put it into a frame. We, let's say, want to add in 8 there. We'll add 2 there. We will give it like some sort of like pill-like shape, and we can select both of these, put them into a single piece together. And I might actually just open up my toolkit, because I can actually go, for example, to my actual scaling and properly apply my padding. We'll jump in here. I'm gonna go left padding. We'll make sure that that's my 8, and my right padding will be 8. and my top padding will be my 4, and my bottom padding will be my 4. There we go. And my text will fill, and my text has, by the way, my label, and I'll just drag that out where I can keep it at a 40. And I'm just going to go and jump into that somatic collection. Inside my somatic collection, I have different color combinations. This is where it comes in handy having them separated as well. So let's say I grab that white background, I can select that like so. And because I've had this selected, you can see that it's a fill right there. I'm going to apply my actual surface. Actually, by the way, this will be my white. So this will be the primary. And I need to grab that actual black outline, and I will apply my outline. I'm going to select the background here, and I'll make sure that it centers the actual element in there. And I will apply a fill right so I can click this, and now I can quickly go over here. I can say my active state, for example, is this, and you can see that it changes the colors, which is great. But then because I also have the icon set up, I have my super icon, I can actually go into icon and I can choose my fill icon, because I'm like, okay, well, when you hover, you do that. Oh, and then I can drag this out and I'll be like, okay, well, when you have it, let's say selected, I want you to do this, and so on. And this is what you can start to set up really quickly using these dynamic icons, because your icons are set up so that you can quickly apply their different states. And you can apply the different states that are dictated from the parent, which is the parent object, which is this component that we're just making. So that's how you can set up a super icon. Hi design thinkers, thank you for watching the video. I hope that it's helped you out with your designs. Let me know in the comments section below. And while you're down there, also, I would love to know, if you could have a design superpower, what would it be? And please like and subscribe. All of your help helps this channel out. And until next time, design thinkers, keep thinking, keep creating, and keep building amazing things. And I'll see you all in the next video.